For the first time in a brand new decade, welcome to Silver State Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the Las Vegas Fury finally have their home opener in the Season 14 SFL regular season. Today they take on perennial powerhouse, the Florida Storm, straight off of a disappointing home opener of their own against Jacksonville as they try to respond today. Good evening and welcome into the broadcast booth. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Toretto. I'm joined in the booth today by T-Roy Gaines. T-Roy, two high-powered teams just looking for a little bit of consistency so far.
Yes, they both are. Unfortunately, they're struggling with the running game, and because of that, the quarterbacks are being relied upon to carry their team and hasn't been successful for the most part. We'll see if both Robert Redford and J.W. Doyle and the running game can get both teams started on a good note and get back in the win column. We'll see what happens.
Full house in the Silver State Stadium tonight here in Las Vegas. The teams are on the field for the coin toss. Don't go anywhere. Kickoff is next from Las Vegas. And it looks like the Storm won the toss, chose to defer, and the Las Vegas Fury will get the ball first. The kicker, Ethan Sneed, has the ball on the tee for Florida. His hand is in the air. The whistle blows, and it's game on from Silver State Stadium in Las Vegas. Kick return up to the 20, 25, 30, and that's where the returner will be driven back for Las Vegas. And they'll start at the 30-yard line. Let's talk about the Vegas offense led by quarterback Thomas Rahman. Wide receivers Chris Braun, Memphis Blue, and Elzie Pryor. In the backfield is Robert Redford, John Truzman, John Blades, and Dan Daly are the tight ends. Under center goes Rahman, first play from scrimmage. He's going to flare it out to the far side. There's Robert Redford. Spin move, makes one man miss, and then he gets leveled after a gain of 6 yards.
That's a good catch by Robert Redford. I want to see him get going in today's game. A very elusive player out of the backfield, and he's very good busting those long runs. We'll see if he was able to do that today.
Fifth season in the SFL for Redford. 4 of those right here in Vegas after opening his career in Sioux Falls. Another flare out to the far side. Redford tries to make the same move, but this time the defense was having none of it. Ryan Davidson, the cornerback, with the tackle. Here's the rest of the Florida Impact players on defense. Their front line is led by Alex Dominguez and Alessandro Tomaello. Linebackers Frank Champion and Nicholas Warner. Safeties Jeff Malinishin, Andrew Francis, and Ryan Tobin. And on the corner spot, it's Ryan Davidson and Evan Carroll. 3rd down and 3 now in this opening possession for the Fury. Handoff, Redford, he's touched the ball in all 3 plays, and he outran his blocker. He gets past the 50, but if he had waited just a little bit, he might have been all the way gone.
You took the words right out of my mouth. He was able to avoid that first tackle, get that first down, but he was so excited that he outran John Truzman. If he would have waited, like you said, that was a house call for 6, but still, they're in Florida's territory at their own 47.
First down of the game picked up by the Fury. Cross midfield to the 47-yard line. Rahman in the gun. Nobody back there with him. He's going to throw over the middle on first down into double coverage, and it's caught. Hold in on the play by John Blades, tight end. His first catch of the day.
Last week, he had 4 receptions for 36 yards. They definitely want to get these 2 tall receivers, the tallest ones on Vegas's offensive side with John Blades and Dan Daly. You want to get those 2 involved early and often to take pressure off of Rahman in the receiver corps.
Now we've got the offset eye. Here's a strong side handoff. Redford looking for a lane, won't find it, as that's Alex Dominguez stopping him up the middle.
And one thing I think is going to be important for both running backs is how they're able to produce in their own certain way. Robert Redford is very effective getting skinny in between tackles and busted for a long gain, while J.W. Doyle, when he gets the ball, is a bruiser. If these 2 running backs do well, they're going to take huge pressure off of their respective quarterbacks.
And that's exactly what Las Vegas has tried to do out here in the beginning. Here's a pass from Rahman. He's got a man wide open to the 20, 15 down to the 11-yard line before Chris Braun is finally knocked out of bounds by Nicholas Warner.
And Chris Braun's a very good receiver. He's back after some time off. Coming into today's game, he had 100 yards receiving, averaging 12.5 yards per reception. And because of the success of Robert Redford, they was focusing on him a little bit, allowing Chris Braun to get wide open for that nice catch.
There are two players on this Las Vegas offense, Chris Braun being one of them, and tight end Dan Daly being the other one, who last played in Season 12. Braun last played with the Vancouver Legion, and Dan Daly with the now defunct Indianapolis Spitfire. To the far side, pass caught, and rumbling forward to the 6-yard line goes Memphis Blue, the other star wide receiver for this Fury team, and that'll bring up 2nd and 5.
And he's short but big for a wide receiver at 6 foot, 215 pounds. Entering today's game, he had 15 receptions for 139 yards. The nice out route to start this down distance as they're getting ready to potentially punch it in.
This would be a very efficient drive here if they can cap it off with a score. Redford rushing up the middle, and he can't quite get away from the tackles. And that was Alex Dominguez on the tackle again. Frank Champion was also in there from the linebacker spot.
And he was trying to do his best Seattle running back Sandlin's impression there, trying to truck somebody, but he had the outside to his right wide open for 6. We'll see if he'll do a better job picking the right lane next time.
3rd and 4. It's going to be a pass from Robin to the back of the end zone, and wide open is the receiver for the touchdown. It's Daly, Dan Daly, first catch of the game, and first touchdown of the season for number 88.
And last week, he only had 1 reception. Well, he already topped that mark right here with a nice catch. They forgot about Dan Daly, who is very dangerous. He had over 2,900 yards receiving coming into this season out of retirement. Makes a great catch, and this is a great opening drive for Las Vegas. So he was able to march down the field with a healthy dose of Robert Redford, and Thomas Robin was doing a great job throwing dots.
An extremely efficient drive by Las Vegas, who only scored 6 points last week in a loss to Atlanta, and they are an extra point away from eclipsing that already with 7:06 to go first quarter. Extra point by Rob Ems is up and good. We're going to take a short break and be right back from Las Vegas. It's the Fury 7. The Storm get the ball next. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Welcome back to Silver State Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The hometown Fury up 7-0 after an impressive touchdown drive capped off by a Thomas Rahman end zone pass to Dan Daly for the touchdown, as the Florida Storm will try and respond. The Storm 1-1. The Fury still looking for their first win on the year. Here's the return, and leveled at the 21-yard line is the return man for the Storm. I'm trying to figure out who that was on the return.
I believe that was Robert Merrill on that return.
It was indeed Robert Merrill, the wide receiver. We'll be seeing some more of him, I'm sure, as the game goes on. Ron Cochran, their star quarterback, is alone in the backfield with 4 receivers to aim at on 1st and 10. Only a 3-man front for Vegas. They do rush 4. Plenty of time for Cochran. Now he moves in the pocket. Nobody open. He goes across his body, and it's almost intercepted. He was very lucky.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off during that play, but Ron Cochran committed the number 1 sin. You do not throw across your body. He's very lucky that American Terror didn't take that to the house with a pick 6.
Let's take a gander at this Las Vegas defense. Up front, they've got Guapo Esteban and Rhett Sawyer. Linebackers Dave Drury and Freddie Trammell. I'll get to the rest of their defensive lineup after this play. 2nd and 10 from the 21. Cochran back to pass. Now over the middle. That's deflected and incomplete. Dave Drury and Freddie Trammell, the linebackers. Thomas Rahman Jr., Merrick Itera, the cornerbacks, and the safeties are Nicky Colantrelli and Max Jackson.
Well, this is a very important third down for Florida. Looks like Ron Cochran is still suffering from what happened last week. We had 4 interceptions and 3 sacks. He needs to shake off that rust, get this first down, extend this drive.
Here's the blitz from Las Vegas. Cochran throws down the field, and this one is intercepted. He threw it into danger too many times, and Merrick-Katera says, I'll have that. Thank you very much.
Now, that was a great play by Merrick-Katera. He was able to basically be the wide receiver on that play. But he dropped the easy one, made the more difficult one. Either way, Las Vegas is starting on fire, which is, kind of ironic since, they got that volcano right there in midfield.
Las Vegas with a chance to really put Florida behind the 8 ball here early. They'll start their second possession inside Storm territory at the 45. Offset I single receiver set to the far side. Strong side handoff left to Redford. Redford runs through everybody, and he's still going. Nobody touched him, and he got inside the 20, and he's down at the 17-yard line, and he almost took that one all the way.
And we alluded it earlier in the first drive for Las Vegas. We love to see how Robert Redford can produce in this game. He likes to get skinny, and he's very fast to get through those lanes. And right now, he is helping Las Vegas get into the red zone once again. Florida's defense is definitely on its heels. Can they respond to this hole that they're in and stop them from getting any points?
Ryan Tobin made the touchdown-saving tackle at the 17-yard line. Second trip to the red zone for the Fury in the first half of this first quarter. Another handoff to the strong side left for Redford. This time breaks the tackle. He almost was dropped for a loss of 2, but ended up picking up 5.
And great job breaking that one tackle to be able to get 5 yards. But Robert Redford, even though he's only 200 pounds, one of the smaller backs weight-wise in this league, he's able to produce basically any way possible, either just outrun you, juke you, or even carry you for a couple yards.
Alessandro Tomaello looked to have him dead to right to the backfield, but no go. Here is a pass from Robin, first to the drive, into coverage, and it's incomplete. Looking for Memphis Blue. He got rocked over the middle.
That's a very dangerous throw. Thankfully, Memphis Blue didn't have that ball pop up in the air for a tip drill. You don't want to leave your receivers to a potential butt whipping from the defense. Make sure you throw it to somebody who's a little bit more wide open.
I think that's what you call a hospital pass in the business. So it left him no room between himself and the defender. Here's 3rd and 5. It's an underhanded throw, and it's incomplete. That was one of the strangest looking throwing motions from Robin I think I've ever seen. It was well defended by Davidson. It's going to force a field goal attempt from Rob Ems.
And maybe Thomas Ron was feeling himself a little bit with that nice little sidearm pass. Almost got it connected to Chris Brown. Chris Brown wasn't able to hold on, but still, they're able to extend this lead if their rookie kicker, Rob Ems, remains perfect and make this field goal right here.
From 28 yards, it'll be. Snap is good. And the kick is good from 28. So the Fury go up 10-7 here, and that moves Ems to 6 for 6 on the season. We have 2 very good kickers in this game, that being Ems for the Fury and Ethan Sneed for the Storm. I'm sure we'll see him plenty of times as this game goes on.
Yeah, but what I want to see from Florida, they gotta give Sneed a chance to get a field goal attempt. They passed it primary on the first drive. We'll see if they're gonna get J.W. Doyle and their new running back Connor Weston the ball on this drive, as they can hopefully move down the field and score.
And another deep field position for Florida, as they only start at their own 25 as we go back to their offensive impact players, and key among them will be J.W. Doyle. Had a bit of a down evening last week against Jacksonville, only 14 carries for 8 yards and 54 yards through 2 games and no touchdowns.
In comparison, what he did 2 seasons ago, where he was actually helping Florida scoring some touchdowns.
Here he is up the middle, and he will pick up 3 on first down, and that's the kind of runs you want out of a fullback like Doyle.
Yeah, and three is not a bad start on this drive. He was able to move forward, carry defenders for at least a 3-yard gain. You not expect him to get 4 or 5 yards, but we hope that he would do as the game goes along, is wear out that defensive line so he can get 5 to 10 yards per carry. But they got to get out of this hole.
Cochran under pressure with only a two-man rush, but the pass is complete down the field. Excellent catch, high pointing the ball is E.J. Minson, his first grab of the afternoon.
And believe it or not, they got two tall receivers on this side of the field. Optimus Klein and then the tight end E.J. Minson, who was able to just moss that was Max Jackson there on that great catch, get into Las Vegas side of the field. We'll see if Alaska can score a touchdown here and cut this deficit down.
Two backs behind Cochran. He's going to hand it off to Doyle, running the wrong direction. He's going to use 4 yards as he was swarmed under by a swarm of black and gold jerseys. Second down and 14.
Now, unfortunately, his lead blocker missed a huge block, which forced Doyle to run to the outside, run backwards, and lose 4. If his blocking is a little bit more better, he'd be more successful. We'll see what happens.
Again, Cochran with plenty of time in the pocket goes down the seam, and it's complete again, this time to Optimus Clyde. He picks up 15 yards and a first down.
And Michael and SFL Nation, this is the matchup I want to see when Alaska has the ball. Can their two tallest receivers at 6'4", Optimus Klein, and 6'5", Minson, can basically outplay the safeties and the corners who are no taller than 6'3"?
Florida driving deep into Vegas territory here, now at the 31-yard line. Another handoff, fullback dive, Doyle. He'll get 2. And this is a lot like the Florida offense that we saw last week against Jacksonville that didn't score a touchdown, only put up field goals and ended up falling 24-12. But the red zone trips are going to have to be key for this Storm offense today, as it's second down and 8. Cochran with all kinds of time, fares it out to the near side, caught just a yard short of the first down by Stephen Bush. Bush was far and away the best receiver for the Storm last week, putting up 109 yards on 6 receptions.
And nice out route, completely confused the defense of Las Vegas. And Stephen Bush was entering week 3 as the number 2 receiver with 247 yards receiving. No touchdowns yet, but averaging almost 20 yards per catch.
Third down 1. Here's Doyle. Oh, he's running the wrong way again, but he somehow finds a lane and gets a first down to the 19. How in the world did he get through that?
With pure determination, because he didn't want to make another mistake. He went sideways, but it didn't matter. In spite of the fact that his blocking didn't help him out, he decided to take it upon himself to get that first down and extend that drive. Great effort by J.W. Doyle there.
I think you and I have different definitions of the word sideways, because he about ran 5 yards in the wrong direction. Here's a pass out to Doyle on the far sideline, gets him 3 down to the 16-yard line, now officially in the red zone for the first time today.
And great job by Thomas Rahman Jr. making that tackle. He made sure he got lower than J.W. Doyle, picked him up and scooped him down. That almost looked like a spear that you would see in WWE.
Cochran, pressure in his face, throws to the far side, it's dropped. There was big pressure on the receiver by Colin Trelli, the brand new signing at free safety for this Fury team.
Man, he had a chance to pick that off and take it to the house. He couldn't have no easier interception than that one. Just wasn't paying attention. That was the easiest pick 6 he'll ever have. Maybe he'll do what Itera did in the first drive and pick it off a little bit later on. Hopefully, in Ron Cochran's case, that won't happen.
Colin Trelli didn't do himself any favors on that play. Gave himself about 5 yards to jump to the football, but he did well to knock it down. Here's 3rd and 7 at the 16-yard line. Got to get to the 9 to extend the drive. Cochran near side. Catch is made, turning upfield and diving forward just shy of the first down marker is Robert Merrill. He was half a yard short.
And remember, SFL Nation, he was a running back for one season. Actually, the last season that Florida won the championship when there was Alaska, he was able to break those tackles then, but he wasn't able to do it on this drive. But looks like they're going to maybe go for it.
They are lined up to go for it. Maybe just try and draw this defensive line off sides. They need to move the ball about 2 or 3 inches to pick up a first down inside the 10. But it looks like they are going to hold on to the ball, call a timeout, and set up for an Ethan Snead field goal.
I'm going to be real with you, Michael. I would prefer for them to challenge that and maybe lose a timeout than just to try to draw a disciplined defense as Las Vegas offsides on that one. At least have a chance to get that first down because it looked like Merrill could have gotten that first down.
Yeah, it's the first half. Your timeouts don't mean as much. And you don't want this game to get away from you like the game against Jacksonville last week did, only kicking field goals. You know, you don't want to go now 4 quarters and almost 5 quarters without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, but that's what it looks like right here.
Kick is almost blocked, but it is up and good. Snead stays perfect on the season, 7 for 7. It's now Las Vegas 10, Florida 3. We're back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Stay with us. Welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada. Silver State Stadium is the location for this Week 3 battle between the Las Vegas Fury and the Florida Storm. Storm finally on the board after a long drive resulting in a field goal. Just a minute 40 to go first quarter. Ethan Snead drives this one deep, picked up at the 5-yard line at the 15-20, and wrestled down at the 26-yard line. And let's take a look at, we mentioned off the top, let's take a look at the running back or fullback in Doyle's case comparison this season. Both of them have big play potential, but have yet to get off the mark.
Yeah, and it looks like Robert Redford definitely has better protection with the same amount of carries as J.W. Doyle have. But, of course, he has a lead blocker in comparison to J.W. Doyle, who's basically going head first by himself. We'll see if that changes for Doyle this week.
1st and 10 at the 26. And a pass over the middle. That is complete, wide open down the seam. And they'll pick up 13 yards of the first down. Redford there on the reception downfield.
And he's a very good receiver out of the backfield. He's wearing number 28 because he kind of reminds me of a Marshall Faulk back in the day. Nice reception by him. He already have over 1,000 yards receiving in his career, so he's a very valuable receiver out of the backfield.
This time, Vegas will spread it out. 1st and 10, their own 39-yard line, going left to right here in this second quarter. Or first quarter, rather. A minute 5 to go in it. Plenty of time for Rahman. Throws deep, caught over the defender, and caught by Blue into Florida territory down to the 37-yard line.
Well, Evan Carroll, the cornerback for Florida, read that play correctly. He just jumped prematurely a little bit earlier. And still, that was also a nice dot by Thomas Rahman, able to get it over Carroll's shoulders and to his intended receiver for a first down. And Vegas' offense has been on fire this first quarter.
Haven't met much resistance so far from the Florida defense. They've got a 10-3 lead to show for it. 34 seconds to go. Here's Redford. This is the first time he'll be stopped behind the line for a loss of 1. And that is Jason Julian picking up the tackle.
Yeah, but let's give the oof award to the tackle, Snake Drimple, number 71, who failed to block that guy and allow Redford basically to take a huge hit for a 1-yard loss.
Offset eye, single receiver to the left. To the far side, right they go. Pass complete to John Truzman, who picks up his first catch of his SFL career after being signed this week.
And welcome to the SFL, Truzman. Nice play right there as we about to get ready to start the second quarter.
That is the end of the first quarter. Fury 10, Storm 3. We'll be back after the break. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Stay with us. We'll be back. Second quarter on tap in the Simulation Football League Week 3 matchup. Las Vegas Fury lead the Florida Storm 10-3. I'm Michael Trillo, your play-by-play commentator, T. Roy Gaines, alongside me in the broadcast booth. Third down and 5. Ramen alone in the backfield. Pressure in his face. He throws the ball down the field, and it's caught! And walking into the end zone is Memphis Blue. Touchdown, Fury!
And Memphis Blue blew by the secondary of the Florida Storm with a nice double move with that outside slant towards the sidelines. Nice dot by Thomas Rahman, and Memphis Blue, it was just too easy for him to make that catch as Evan Carroll bit on that double move, and he had no help. By the time he got help, it was too late. And Vegas still on fire. They have scored on every drive so far in this game.
Ryan Davidson, or Evan Carroll rather, was in very heavy press man coverage that time, and the speed of Memphis Blue just completely left him in the dust for a touchdown down the left-hand side. Here is Rob Ems on for the extra point. It is up and good. 10:55 to go, second quarter. Vegas has jumped out to a 17-3 lead. This is, well, T. Roy, this is not how we thought this game was going to go. We thought it was going to be a lot slower, a lot more defensive-minded, but Stephen Mulinax and this Las Vegas Fury offense has left us completely speechless.
Yeah, and they've been very productive, very well balanced with the run and the pass. So Florida's defense has no idea who they should focus on more. If they focus on the receivers, Redford will bust them for a long run. And then they focus on Redford, you have a play like what we saw there for a touchdown by Memphis Blue. So Florida's going to have to play a little bit more discipline on defense, and they're going to need their offense to actually have a touchdown scoring drive on this possession right here.
And something about the starting field position for Florida has been off today. 21, 30, 24. That's pretty deep in comparison to the SFL average of about 30 to 35. Here is Ron Cochran. He steps up in the pocket, throws across the middle. That's a great 15-yard pickup on the first down play to Stephen Bush.
Yeah, and what will help with that kick return yardage that she was talking about previously before this play is that the special teams blocking improves for Florida. Right now, their blocking is not as good as they will hope. So that's why they only been averaging basically 20 to 23 yards per kick return. But nice start to this drive with that catch by Bush. We'll see how Florida responds here.
We saw the Storm offense revving up a little bit on their last drive, had to settle for a field goal, but you could feel the shift coming in this game as a pass underneath is caught, and that'll pick up 5 yards on the far side. Itera there to make the tackle on Weston, who picks up his first catch of the game.
And great job by the week 2 signee, the rookie, 5'11", 215, replaces one of my favorite running backs in the league, Stanley Nordellis. And he's already doing what Nordellis does, making great catches and get at least 5 yards per catch.
Here is Cochran. Has to step on the pocket, and he's thrown to the ground from behind. The pressure finally gets to him. And it's Jericho Kane who has the first sack of the afternoon.
And as soon as Kane made that tackle, you heard that little poof, that fire effects from the WWE with that Kane's theme playing, because that was a vicious hit. Great job by Kane with the block shed, tackling Ron Cochran and putting them in a difficult 3rd and 10. Florida has to extend this drive.
3rd and 10, 3 receivers plus a tight end. Ron Cochran, plenty of time, throws down the field. He overthrows everybody. He was looking for Bush, and he was about 10 yards too far.
But that's very good press coverage by the Fury defender there, making sure that Bush didn't outrun him. No penalty was called by the ref there. You might think that could have been pass interference because Bush got held up. Great job by the Vegas defense, and Florida is in a huge hole right now.
First punt of the day for either team, but we've Marcus Agrippa from his own 25. Major punt, flipping the field completely. Las Vegas will start at their own 15 after only a 2-yard gain on the return by Braun.
Let me talk about Agrippa real quick. With that punt right there, that is the 4th one inside the 20 for him. Great punter, great weapon for the Florida Storm. We'll see if the defense can actually make some noise here and stop the onslaught that's been the Fury offense.
First down and 10 from the 15-yard line. Throw to the far side, complete. That's Redford. One spin move left to complete. Defender completely in the dust and gets 6 more yards after that. 2nd down and 4.
There's at least 2, maybe 3 running backs in the SFL who does a great job with the spin move. You just saw Robert Redford in BDG Hollywood and Sul Nakai. Those 3 running backs are very good using that spin move to help them get at least 5 or 6 yards each time they use it.
And another throw in the flat. Here's Redford. This time he tries the spin, and it was a little bit too early. Davidson puts him into the ground a yard short of the line of gain. 3rd down and 1.
And great open field tackle by the Iceman, Ryan Davidson. Make sure that was only a 2-yard gain on that one, but they have to stop him here. If Florida stops them here, they should have good field position after a punt, but they got to take care of business right here.
I got to stop that man Redford, but it's going to be a throw. Robin to Braun, 1st down on the hook route to the 32-yard line. We crest under 8 minutes to go in this first half, and it's all about the Fury offense controlling the pace of the game.
And great job by Chris Braun. He knew he was about to take a huge hit, but still able to make that catch, help extend this drive, help melt off the clock here with just 7:50 left in the first half. We'll see what happens on this one.
They tried to run it with Redford, and the Storm defense was all over it. Loss of 2. That's Pierre Leon, who made the stop in the backfield.
And he was like a lion on that one, going after his prey with no contestant from the old line of Vegas. Great job in 2nd and 12.
Rahman in the flat again to Redford. He's got space. He tries the spin move again, and Davidson has it keyed in this time. Does pick up 7 yards, gets it to 3rd and 6. And this is going to be a big test here for the Storm defense.
Yep, and one good thing is they can focus on the passing game because Redford's not on the field. So the Florida defense has to make a stand right here and get the ball back.
Another underarm throw. This one is complete. Down the middle towards midfield, down to the 49-yard line. Thomas Rahman may not be the most conventional throwing style in the league, but LZ Pryor picks up his first catch as a Fury player.
And very disciplined catch because he had two defenders ready to make a hit or potentially pick it off, but Pryor was able to make a clutch catch to help extend this drive.
And the third down defense, it hurt the Storm last week against Jacksonville. They seemingly couldn't get the Kings off the field when it mattered most, and it's looking similar today with the Fury extending drive after drive on third down. Here's another throw in the flat to Redford, this time to the far side left, and it's going to go for 3 yards.
Now, Las Vegas don't want to go to the well too often. It was a swing pass to the left. It's basically the same play, and Florida did a good job stopping it for just 3. So might want to mix it up or give Rahman the ball. Give Redford the ball more as the ball carrier.
2 receivers each side in an identical formation. Here is Rahman. Pressure coming. Now he gets the ball away, and it's tipped and incomplete. Behind the defense was Memphis Blue. But shading over to knock it down was Zabi Lurkin. And it's another 3rd and long here.
And he did lurk. He almost had an INT, but he didn't get 2 hands on that football. They needed that potential turnover there. Maybe he has to put on some gloves to make sure he makes that catch.
Again, we're in this 2 wide to each side set on 3rd and 7. Rahman under center. Back to pass, throws to the far side, knocked away, intercepted!
There you go!
Picked up into the air, and running it back the other way is Ryan Tobin, and he's gonna take it to the house, put it on the board, pick 6, touchdown, Florida!
I see you, Ryan Tobin. Great job on the tip drill. Able to pick it up. Great defense by Florida. IB Lurkin helped with that tip drill, and then Ryan Tobin just had to pick that off. That was too easy for him. Thomas Rahman is not fast enough to stop that guy. And way to go for this defense, making a huge response there, getting the score for their team. That's the first touchdown of this game for Florida, and they'll be able to cut into this lead here.
Amazing diligence on that play by Tobin. 9 times out of 10, and maybe 99 times out of 100, that ball deflects off the receiver and flies out of bounds into the bench. He was there that one time that it went through, it was tipped straight up in the air and came down for an interception as the extra point by Snead is up and good. And, you know, and I bet if you watch the film on that play over and over and over again, every time it's run throughout the season, he'll be there every time that ball is tipped, even though most of the time it just flies out of bounds.
Yeah, great concentration by him. And also, that's his second pick 6 of his career. And what a good time to get your second one to help get your team back in this game, trailing by 7.
First interception of the season by Tobin, as the lead has been cut to 7, 17-10, the Fury lead, and they'll have the ball back. 5:25 to go in the second. So the Storm offense still has not scored a touchdown in 5 quarters, but their defense has been into the end zone now with that pick 6. And now we'll see if they can do it again as reset. We're back on the field with Las Vegas at their own 29. Handoff, Redford. Plenty of blockers out in front, and he's got the speed, and he falls forward for a 12-yard gain and a first down. Ivy Lurkin is out there all the time. He's made 2 tackles downfield. He was in on that pass deflection. He's all over the place.
Yeah, but that's the thing about IB Lurkin. He's a very good hustler player for the Florida Storm. He's been doing that for his whole career. But the O-line is doing a good job holding off the defensive line of the Florida Storm. If they keep this up, Florida Storm's defense is going to feel like it's going to be a long night for them. They got to do better.
4 wide on first down over the middle. That was a dangerous pass, but it's caught into first down and into Storm territory. John Blades, that's his first catch since the opening drive of the game, moves the fury down the field.
And he is not your typical tight end. Usually the tight ends weigh about 250 plus. He's 225 at 6'4". He could be a receiver, a very fast one for them. Maybe a Travis Kelsey or a Kittle like receiver for the Vegas Fury. We'll see if they're going to use him more as this game goes along.
They're in this 4-wide set again. They've just flapped the formation, strong side top, and going for all, and it's intercepted. Robin underthrew the receiver, and Evan Carroll has an interception.
He basically was the receiver on that play. Great job by Evan Carroll, as you saw that the receiver, Memphis Boo, basically outran that pass or is overthrown. Great job by Florida's defense.
Don't go anywhere. The Storm try and tie it up when we come back. This is the SFL on 11 Sports. Two straight interceptions on two straight drives by the Florida defense, and now the Storm looking to tie this one up down 7. 4:21 to go first half. Throw to the far side from Cochran. That's complete. Give 3 yards on the play. And we say it all the time, T-Roy, kickers matter in this league, and none so much as Rob Ems and Ethan Snead, 2 in the top 5 of this season so far.
And the only reason why Ethan Snead's number 3 and Rob Ems is number 5 is because of the number of attempts that they have. But they've been perfect. They've been doing what they're supposed to do for their respective teams. Oh, no.
Oh, no, indeed. As Doyle goes the wrong way for the 3rd time in this first half. This time he can't fall forward. He's going to fall backwards, lose the 3 yards they gained on the previous play as Max Jackson makes the tackle. And now set up a 3rd and 10 for Cochran and the Storm offense.
And if I'm the coach, Mighty RX, I'll get rid of that play. It's been very unsuccessful so far in this first half.
Ron Cochran gets the pass away. It's short of the first down marker by a long way, and Robert Merrill's going to be 5 yards short. Good coverage on the check down by Las Vegas, and they're going to go to 4th and 3 and out after the punt.
Well, thanks to that huge loss by that on the carry for J.W. Doyle, that put them behind the 8 ball. If they ain't had that loss, that catch by Merrill would have been a first down in a drive extending play, but now they got settled for a punt.
Agrippa puts his leg through it. It's going to be good field position defensively for the Storm again as Las Vegas starts at their own 24-yard line. 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go in the first half.
Now, we talked about this in the pregame in our prep work here, Michael. I'm surprised that Max Jackson isn't the returner for Las Vegas this year. This is the first season that he is not the returner. On the kick returner is Pryor. The punt returner is Chris Braun. But I'm shocked that Max Jackson's not back there.
I am too. He was very productive, picking up several returns for touchdowns. And here goes Robert Redford. Immediate response from Las Vegas as Redford goes down the field. 1 man to beat. He can't get away from the crashing Evan Carroll, but he does scamper for 43 yards and a first down in Florida territory.
I love watching Robert Redford run, but his long runs have been very easy thanks to the great blocking of his lead blocker, especially the new fullback, John Truzman, who made the block that helped Redford get that long gain there. Great job by the blockers of the Fury. Now there's maybe knocking on the door for another touchdown drive here.
Robin checked down. Redford on the far side makes the catch, and he will be put down after only a 4-yard gain by Ryan Davidson, or a 6-yard gain rather, 2nd and 4. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning here of the first half. Las Vegas 17, Florida 10. We'll be right back after the break for the wrap up this first half. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on 11 Sports. In Las Vegas, Nevada, under the 2-minute warning now of the first half. It's been a competitive, tight game so far. Fury 17, Storm 10. Michael Trillo, T. Roy Gaines, the broadcast booth with you. Here's a pass out to the far side. That is complete. And picking up a first down is John Trusman on only his second reception.
But that's why you paid the man, because he's doing a great job as a fullback running out routes. Good job by Trusman. I apologize, Trusman. I'll make sure I get your name right. Second catch, another 5-yard gain, averaging 5 yards per catch. Good job by him.
First and 10 at the 21-yard line. Redford going for the end zone. It is intercepted. It was knocked around and intercepted again by Ryan Tobin, his second of the game.
Well, if you want to throw it over the middle, you definitely don't want to throw it to one of your shorter receivers. I am a Chris Brown fan, so I'm not trying to diss him, but he's not the tallest receiver on your squad. You want to throw it to your John Blades or Dan Daly on a, in that area where there's basically nothing but Storm defenders there getting ready to basically do what they did there in the drive with a nice pick.
Ryan Tobin says, yeah, you see that deflection pick? I could do you one better. How about a double deflection pick in the end zone for Tobin? And the Storm have the ball back, looking to tie the game up with 1:25 to go in the first half. Cochran, pressure from behind, gets the pass away to the near side. Pass complete to E.J. Minson for a gain of 4.
Now, I do remember this E.J. Minson guy. He came into the league last season, and he was a running back. He decided to switch it to the tight end, and they should throw it to him more. He's 6'5", 255. He is the tallest receiver on for this team. Use him.
Hand off Doyle. This is what you do with a fullback. Pound him straight up the middle. Gain of 3, if I can do math. Third down and 3 coming up. And what you don't want to do if you're Florida is go 3 and out again and give the Fury another shot at extending the lead.
Yeah, but also got to make a decision. Are they going to try to end this half, or are they going to try to get 6 points here because they only got 27 seconds left?
They're going to throw. Cochran, far side, caught and getting out of bounds for the first down. Tapping the toes on the far sideline, Stephen Bush. 24 seconds to go. The Storm don't have to burn a timeout. They're at their own 33.
Now we'll see what Mighty RX has up his sleeves. I already know Ron Cochran may have been a little pick heavy at the beginning of this game, but he looks like he's settling down now. But looks like they might go to the running here. I don't agree with it.
They're going to go with Doyle, and Doyle picks up 2. Under 20 seconds now, they're going to go hurry up. But it's going to be Doyle again. Whoa! J.W. Doyle got 9 yards on that, or 8 yards on that play. 3rd and 1.
Call a timeout.
And they will call a timeout with 3 seconds left, and maybe they're on the edge of Hail Mary range here. We saw this in week 1, and I don't quite remember the team, but I was calling a game in week 1 where a team got stuck in a hurry-up offense, and I guess it being week 1, they didn't have many plays in that set, so they kept running it in crunch time and burned a lot of clock. It was Arizona. And I think we just saw something similar right there.
Yeah, but now they got to resort to that Hail Mary. Hopefully Ron Cochran be able to fire this deep in the end zone. We can get a nice highlight-worthy play here.
3 seconds left. This will be the last play of the first half. Cochran steps into the pocket, launches a long rainbow pass down the field, has a receiver out there, and it's knocked away. Very good defense on the back end by Max Jackson and Frank Shatter. And we will go to the break with the Las Vegas Fury 17, the Florida Storm 10.
Man, and they threw it to Optimus Klein there, but Klein wasn't fast enough to get underneath that ball. He had to resort to the diving attempt, but that was almost an interception again. Great job by the Fury defense, basically holding the Storm's offense to no touchdowns for now 6 quarters.
And as we take a look at some stats and highlights from the first half, you mentioned that the Storm offense still touchdownless in now 6 quarters of football. What has to change? What does Max Paul tell his offense at halftime to get them into the end zone and back into this football game?
Well, they need to tell their O-line to do a better job blocking for J.W. Doyle, because him running sideways and backwards is not a good thing for a guy who weighs 240 pounds. You want him to go straight in a hurry and get 3 to 5 yards per carry. They're not out of this game yet, so they need to resort to the running game right now and avoid these interceptions. Help, take the pressure off of Ron Cochran. They're not out of this. They're only down by 7. So if the running game improves in this half and they can keep the Furies offense on the sidelines, they got a chance to get their second win. Now, they mean the Florida Storm.
And again, on Doyle, I think that he is meant to, punch it in from inside the 5 or 10 yard line. And the Storm's offense hasn't done a great job of getting them to the red zone. They've only been there once and had to resort to a field goal. And that's because on first down and second down, they're not getting the yardage they need, and they end up getting third and long over and over and over again, and having to have Ron Cochran make these big-time throws. Yes, he can do it, but not 20, 30 times a game.
Yeah, and that's why the running game is important. Back during their championship seasons, their running game was a threat, so people had to respect that. Right now, this season, nobody's respecting the running game, and they got very capable running backs back in the backfield for the Storm who can produce. It's just that their O-line's not doing a good job blocking for J.W. Doyle and the new guy, Connor Weston. So if the O-line can block like the Furies O-line has been in this first half, giving their running backs chance to, make some noise after 5 yards, that will take pressure off of Ron Cochran and give him more time to throw it to his receivers.
And a bit of a worrying stat for the Storm on defense. Their two safeties, corner and safety, Ryan Davidson and Ryan Tobin, have combined for 11 tackles in the first half. As we are back to action here from Silver State Stadium in Las Vegas, it means that neither offensive line nor defensive line is getting it done at the point of attack for the Storm. We haven't even said Alex Dominguez's name or Alessandro Tomaello's name all in that second quarter as we get ready to start the third quarter of play here. The Storm will get the ball. Kick is away from Rob Ems. And from the goal line, it is Merrill. Merrill jump cuts past his own blocker and gets it to the 23. And again, poor field position off the returns for the Storm.
And maybe Merrill's barrel off just down the ball in the end zone instead of taking the unnecessary hit, because unfortunately the blocking, special teams blocking of the Storm has not been helping them out so far.
Two backs behind Cochran. The Vegas defense steps up and sniffs out that fullback dive immediately. Only 1 yard on the play. Second down and 9. And a big tackle from Rhett Sawyer. We haven't mentioned Rhett Sawyer or Guapo Esteban much as well on the Vegas D-line.
Yeah, but especially Rhett Sawyer, he's a very good player. Only coming in before that tackle with just 1 total tackle, but he already got 1 on that play.
Short drop throw to the far side for Cochran. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7 as that pass is complete. Tackle made by Thomasina Rahman, her first involvement of the afternoon. And again, it has to be Ron Cochran hero time. First set of downs of the drive.
And going back to Thomasina Rahman, she actually had no stats line from last week's game. She actually gets on the stat line for first time in a week. Good job by her making this a 3rd and long.
Cochran, far side, away. Beautiful, strong arm by Max Jackson to force a 3 and out all by himself, pretty much.
He had a chance to pick that off, but he just went for the guaranteed pat down. But again, not to start 4 to 1s. And how this drive started with a no gain, J.W. Doyle carry because the O-line's not doing their job. O-line has to do a better job blocking for their running backs so they can make some noise.
As Agrippa is on to punt again, something I've noticed about how this Vegas team is attacking, or the Vegas defense is attacking the Storm offense, as the punt is up and caught at the 25-yard line up to the 30, and the 35 to the 36. And more on that when we come back to Silver State Stadium. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports. Back in Las Vegas, Nevada, the Fury have a 17-10 lead. And I was just mentioning before we went to break how the Las Vegas defense is attacking this Storm offense, and I'll get to that after this first play. Rahman to the far side, pass caught, turning upfield, and picking up the first down to the 47-yard line. It's Truzman again, the rookie playing his first game. So I'll finally get to my point here. Last week, we saw Jacksonville dominate the Storm on defense, but they did it with their upfront pressure, with their 4-star defensive linemen. This week, they're making Ron Cochran think about where he's throwing it and how he's throwing it because of the way their coverages are shaping up in the back end. Here is, Robert Redford on a beautiful block and falls forward for 12 yards into Storm territory to the 42.
And you see the difference between the success of the Robert Redford and the success of J.W. Doyle. He got great blocking. Great job by Truzman once again. Just after he made that 10-yard reception, give him the block he needed to get that first down and extend this drive. The blocking in Las Vegas has been very impressive so far. We already know that Redford went over 100 yards by the end of the first half. A great day for him.
There have been so many chunk plays by this Vegas offense so far today. And here's Redford again, bottled up and dropped. Almost spun away from everybody, but eventually he is brought down by Jason Julian.
And we know for Robert Redford making these nice runs where it looks like he's about to get trapped, but he somehow, some way got out of that mass of humanity and take it to the house for 6. Didn't happen that time, but he was very close to doing so on that carry.
Here's Rahman on a throw to the far side, caught, turning upfield, and making a tackle and getting all the way to the 25-yard line is John Blades. He's been a very favorite target for Rahman today.
He's making some noise. Another great catch. And since the running game's been on point, the Storm's defense do not know what to focus on. Should they focus on receivers? Should they focus on Redford? When they focus on one, the offense and Thomas Rahman just goes to somebody else. Their weapons have been very effective so far. Great game plan by Stephen Monax today.
Here's Redford in the flat, tries to spin away from a tackle, but I think that the cornerbacks of Florida have cued in on the spin move today. He gets 4 yards, 2nd down and 6. And you mentioned earlier, T-Roy, that John Blades is really built like another receiver, more than a tight end at 6'4", 225. And he had the speed on the previous play after he made the catch to turn upfield for another 10 yards.
Which is different from normal tight ends who weigh a little bit heavier. They move a little slower. That's why they should be using John Blades as a receiver, basically.
Redford, strong side run, beautiful block, and he got caught from the backside at the 11-yard line. They'll give him the 12-yard line after the tackle by Tobin. But that's the kind of thing you want to see. I love the fact that they're running strong side, both with a fullback and a bunch formation.
And it looks like Redford just went to the spin move just because. I don't think he needed to do a spin move. If he was able to just bounce outside or use a stiff arm, he could have got even more yardage.
Vegas back in the red zone again at the 12-yard line. Rahman has to move in the pocket.
No!
And it's incomplete. The pass ended up going off the chest protector of Frank Champion and falling to the ground, 2nd and 10.
Well, Florida's defense going to have to make the splash plays for the team because right now we know the offense has been struggling. Champion had a chance to pick that off while he was leaping. If he would have picked that off, I don't think anybody's going to catch him. Maybe Redford, but he's heavy to Redford. He can break that tackle.
Second and 10, handoff, Redford. This time he couldn't escape the blocker, and he gets tackled after a gain of 4. Nicholas Warner put him in the ground. 3rd down and 6 now, and the Storm have done a decent job buckling up in the red zone, but it's everywhere else on the field that they're having trouble dealing with this two-pronged attack from the Fury.
And
6 minutes and 16 seconds to go. Here is Robin to the end zone. Intercepted. His second touchdown, or interception rather, in the end zone. This time it's taken away by Francis for his second of the season.
And again, he threw it in the middle where the intended receiver is not one of their tall receivers. That was intended to Chris Braun. He underthrew him. And great job by Francis picking it off. And the defensive Florida has been carrying this team today.
Let's see if the Storm offense can get it going when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Back inside Silver State Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Fury back on defense after another interception in the end zone thrown by Thomas Robin. Here's Ron Cochran to the near side, caught. And that's J.W. Doyle out of the backfield. And let's take a look at Stephen Bush on this Florida roster. We have Big Play Bush up there on the graphic, and he has been the main downfield weapon so far this season for the Storm.
Yes, he has. Again, averaging just under 20 yards per reception. But right now, the Fury is doing a good job bottling up. He's been making just 5-yard receptions instead of the big one. Ooh, great play by the defense.
The offensive line collapsed, and Doyle got pushed backwards 2 yards. Rhett Sawyer and Guapo Esteban combining on the tackle for loss.
And again, the O-line continues to be a swinging gate. If I'm Florida, I might as well just abandon the run, use swing passes to their running backs. That's the only way they're going to get positive yards as of right now.
High formation, though, for the Storm. Looks like they're just going to use pass protection, but it doesn't matter as Cochran goes down again, his second sack of the game. And standing over him is Guapo Esteban, his first sack of the season.
Great job by Guapo, just breaking that block shed and getting the sack and putting into this drive. And Florida's Florida's offense has just been non-existent so far, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah, for the second straight game, the Florida offense has just been anemic. Can't get anything going. Another punt from Agrippa, who really, along with the defense, is the main thing keeping Florida in this game with the good field position that he's giving their defense.
And just imagine if they didn't have that pick 6 earlier, Florida would be trailing by 10 right now. Actually, by 14 right now. They got to do better on offense, but right now, the defense is going to have to step up and make another play like they did in the previous possession.
We've got that strong side offset eye again. They're going to run it that way. And this time, Redford tried to go straight up the middle and got 3. Frank Champion was in on the tackle.
And this is one of those times where I believe that Robert Redford, being as great as he is, he didn't read the defense correctly. He went inside instead of bouncing to the outside, which is when he's been getting the most success for today's game, bouncing it outside. We'll see if he does it again if he gets another opportunity.
Rahman, quick throw, Redford. He won't get to the first down marker. Good tackle in open space by Nicholas Warner, and it's 3rd and 2.
But both Redford and Truzman doing a great job running routes. Truzman actually was wide open as well. So Rahman had both backs basically uncontested for at least 4 or 5 yards if he decided to throw it to either of them.
Here's a handoff to the left. Redford bottled up, and he won't get there, short by a yard. Frank Champion's been big on this drive defensively for Florida, comes up with the tackle, and it's going to be a forced punt. And this is the first time we've seen Robert Blitarski on the field for the Fury today.
Yes, we get to see him on the field, but Robert Redford once again decides to go inside instead of bouncing it outside, get the first to extend this drive. Florida has a chance to come back, but the offense got to basically heat up and catch fire here.
Punt return by Merrill. Oh, what a hit he took. Out to the 25-yard line, slow to get up. Florida will try to get something going on offense. When we come back, you're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Michael Trullo and T. Roy Gaines guiding you through this one. Score has remained constant since early in the second quarter, with the defenses taking over this ball game. The Las Vegas Fury lead the Florida Storm 17-10. Storm on offense at their own 25-yard line, 3 minutes, 8 seconds to go, third quarter. Throw to the far side is dropped by Weston. And I do not want to forget, Jacob Clear is also with us in the booth tonight, helping out with live stats. Thank you, Jacob. He's been in the booth with me now for 3 straight weeks and doing a fantastic job.
I know Jacob will have liked to give Weston a catch there, but Weston didn't do his job. The ball touched his hands. He couldn't come down with it. Maybe he heard footsteps, but that could have been an important good start for the Florida defense as we look at Max Jackson getting ready to zoom in on somebody.
Throw to the far side. It's the same play, and Weston drops it again. It's 3rd and 10. And we're going to take a look at the safety, Max Jackson. He's really the captain of this defense. We're taking a look at 20 tackles through 2 games for Jackson.
And he's the strong safety, but he got 2 tackles for loss. So they're using him on blitz schemes as well. He's a very valuable player on defense. I'm just shocked they're not using him on special teams because he's a monster as a returner as well.
Cochran down the field, intercepted! Yes, and just as we talked about him, Max Jackson picks up a huge interception, and Las Vegas is in business in Florida territory.
He basically read Cochran like a book. Great job by Max Jackson. He must have found out we were talking about him. Ran the route for E.J. Minson. Nice pick in Florida. Sorry, Las Vegas has a chance to basically put this game away. It's just that Thomas Rahman got to shake off the interception jitters right now, and Robert Redford got to continue to bounce it outside instead of going inside when he carries the ball.
Handoff up the middle. Redford spins and gets 7 yards to the 25. That was one of Redford's better inside runs today. But I think you're right. He's got the top end speed to be very effective on outside runs to the sideline.
And he had a chance to go outside there. Great job going inside, but if he cut it to his left, he basically had daylight. He probably could have took it to the house, but he decided to go to his reliable spin move. But at least he got 7 yards on that play.
Pressure in Rahman's face, but he gets the pass off, and it's caught by the rookie Truzman. First down. That's 4 catches for Truzman on the day, and 3 of them for first downs.
Truzman reminds me of a fullback back when I was watching that other league of Larry Centers. Larry Centers was a great route runner, can catch the ball and then do some damage after the catch. And Truzman has been that reliable for the Fury. Oddly enough, with the Birds there, Centers was a Cardinal. Bird, yeah. Okay, I'll stop.
In the end zone, touchdown, Fury. They do extend the lead. Memphis Blue with a touchdown catch. He was working one-on-one with Evan Carroll, and he beat him on the post route.
And maybe Florida's defense is now tired because they've been on this field for basically most of this game. Great job by Memphis Blue getting his second touchdown today's game with the inside slant. But Florida's in the world of hurt. They need to do something.
On for the extra point is Rob Ems. And he puts this one up and through. So with 2 minutes 4 to go in the third quarter, jumping out to a 14-point lead are the Fury, 24-10. And once again, as in last week, around this time in the game, it's just about time to hit that panic button for Florida.
Yeah, it's legit been time since the first quarter, unfortunately. I hate to say that to a very good team who's been dominating this series. They actually have the 3-0 lead, but it looks like Vegas is about to get their first win of the series.
Down we go. And as you say, last time these teams met, it was all Alaska as they were then the Storm, all over Las Vegas, 43-10, as you see Ron Cochran. That's what he could potentially do. 248 yards, 4 touchdowns, at 80% completion, and Vegas has never beaten the Storm, be they in Alaska or Florida. So this would be a big watershed moment for the organization if they can hang on for the next quarter and a bit. But going down the field is Cochran, and there he is, shows you his big arm. Stephen Bush comes up with the reception in traffic all the way out to the 44.
And I believe Ron Cochran's nickname is Riverboat Gambler, and he was gambling on Stephen Bush making that great reception in spite of the fact that Max Jackson was right there on the coverage. Great job by Bush making that catch, and that's a great start to this possession for Florida. Can they produce and get points and cut this deficit down by 7?
And with still a full quarter and a minute 30 to go, this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Cochran to the far side. Doyle.
There you go.
Trying to bring out the Robert Redford spin move. He does get 6 yards, though. Or that was Weston on the reception.
He finally got the jitterbugs out of him, makes a great catch. But let's talk about the previous meeting. They won 43-10. 33 points was the most lopsided win they had against Vegas. Talking about Florida, the other 2 wins were 6 points and 3. But right now, they're trying to get in world. They're trying to make a good catch there, but they're in a world of hurt right now.
You mentioned Max Jackson earlier had 2 tackles for loss through the first 2 games. He almost had another one if Doyle would have actually come up with that catch. Strong safety right there to make the tackle.
Yeah, and that's probably a great job by Doyle making sure that that wasn't a loss. This was still a more manageable 3rd and 4. But Florida has to extend this drive. They want to stay in this game.
3rd down and 4. This is definitely manageable. Cochran looking over the middle.
There you go.
And caught in between 3 defenders all the way to the Vegas 31. It's Stephen Bush again. He's the big play guy for this Florida offense.
They finally decided to go deep with him, and it's paid off 2 plays in a row, at least 2 attempts to him in a row on this drive. Maybe the Florida offense is starting to heat up now. We'll see if they can get 6.
And something I like about Bush, he says how he has fantastic speed off the jump. He left Thomasina Raman in the dust on that last play.
He's open now.
Plenty of time. Down the field, almost intercepted. He was looking for Bush again down about the 10-yard line, but he was bumped off his route, and then Max Jackson eventually knocked the ball to the turf. Excuse me, that was E.J. Minson down the field.
Yeah, Bush was wide open. He beat his defender. It's just Ron Cochran went to the E.J. Minson because he was, one of the taller receivers, but he had Bush. I'm surprised he didn't go to Bush on that throw.
Maybe it's a little bit of panic setting in for Cochran, thinking we got to get back into this game right about now. 27 seconds. 3rd, and another pass bounces off the hands of the receiver. That's Stephen Bush. Something you do not expect. So it's 3rd and 10.
And Florida's just been rusty this whole game on offense. They need a big splash play to get themselves motivated to return to form when they won those 3 championships back to back to back. They need something big, and hey, why not do it now with 3rd and 10 with just 24 seconds left in this 3rd quarter?
Pressure coming off the edge. It's
Oh!
knocked away. He had Minson behind the defense. Fantastic play out of the Freddie Travel. That's a linebacker back there about 20 yards downfield, knocking away the pass, and it's 4th and 10, and looks like they're going to have to settle for another field goal attempt from Snead.
And hopefully Snead will be able to cut down this deficit here with a long field goal, 48.
48 yards, definitely in Snead's wheelhouse. Snap is good, hold is good, kick on the way, it is good, and with yards to spare from 48. So Ethan Snead has been the main source of offense the last 2 weeks for the Storm. He closes the gap just a little bit, 24-13 now your score with under 20 seconds to play here in this third quarter. And I say he had some yards to spare. Maybe it was a little bit generous. He had maybe half a yard to spare on that kick.
Hey, it doesn't matter. He got it through, and he helped cut this deficit down to basically 9 points. Now the defense of the Florida Storm has to show up and basically cause a turnover to get their offense back on this field.
Good kick coverage there as the return is only out to the 28-yard line. 12 seconds to go in the third quarter. Maybe time for one offensive play from the Fury.
And we'll see if Redford is tired or not. He's been doing a great job overall carrying the ball. Does he have another long run in him? We'll see.
It's going to be Rahman to throw. Short, almost intercepted. It was low on the hands of Andrew Francis. He maybe wasn't expecting it. I'm not sure who that was intended for. Memphis Blue was the closest receiver in the area, but that was kind of a down throw for Rahman.
And since it was inside 5 yards, they did a good job preventing Memphis Blue. I'm talking about the Florida defense, preventing Memphis Blue from getting open for that reception. Great job pressing them by the Florida defense.
Here is Redford. Final play of the third quarter. Jumps over a prone Florida defender and gets 5. And we will go to the fourth quarter. Put your fours up. Only 11 minutes of action left to go. Can the Storm come back and save it? Or will the Fury win the game? This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on 11 Sports and for the fans. 1 quarter left to go. Michael Turillo, T-Roy Gaines, and Jacob Clear in the SFL broadcast booth for you. Just 11 minutes for the Florida Storm, maybe, to come back in this game, but it's 3rd down and 5. Let's see if they can get off the field here. Rahman in the gun, 4 receivers to aim at. He takes the snap, drops back, throws down the field, and the pass is incomplete. Beautiful deflection. If Ryan Davidson, or Evan Carroll rather, hadn't got a hand on that one, the receiver was gone.
Yep, so that pass was unfortunately underthrown from Robin. He had a sure touchdown, just didn't have enough arm strength on there. And once again, Florida's defense is doing their thing. Their offense, they just need to wake up. A touchdown only gives them, well, basically making this game a very close one. They'll be trailing by 2 points if they score a touchdown on this possession, but they need to score in a hurry.
Kick away from the 20 by Blatarski. Only his 2nd punt of the game. And bottled up at the 34 as E.J. Minton. And so Ron Cochran and company are going to have to get back into this one through their offense. And part of that company, in fact, a main part of that company who we haven't seen really at all today, is Optimus Klein. Only 1 reception for 15 yards so far through 3 quarters.
And 4 targets. You figured that a tall receiver as him would get the ball thrown to him more, but Vegas defense has been doing a great job bottling him up.
Cochran to the far side.
Oh, no.
It's Doyle. It drops, or Connor Weston that drops it again.
But he has, unfortunately, the butterfingers right now. I feel bad for him because he ran the route perfectly. He just couldn't finish it off. But with more experience, he's going to shake off that rust and make huge plays for this Florida team.
Yeah, that's the 3rd or 4th time in this second half that that's happened to Weston. Now 2nd and 10 for Cochran. Plenty of time in the pocket. Launches it down the field. Intercepted. High pointed and taken away. And running back to the 40-yard line is Max Jackson, his 2nd interception of the game.
Hey, Jackson, give me 2. Nice job by him basically climbing the ladder and making that drive in the interception. Max Jackson's been on fire today, but unfortunately Ron Cochran throws another interception. He's trying to carry this team. He hasn't been accurate, and that's hurting the Florida Storm. You see him on sidelines, not happy with himself.
Yeah, that's another interception for Ron Cochran today. His 3rd as Rahman, almost gives it right back. Very lucky that it wasn't picked off by Andrew Francis.
And Francis, that's what, at least 2, maybe 3 chances you had the opportunity to pick off the ball and just didn't come through. And like I said earlier in the second half, this half, the Florida defense is going to have to carry them. They're going to have to make the splash plays until the offense wakes up. They need to capitalize on mistakes by Rahman.
Rahman hit as he throws and the ball hits the turf. Finally, a little bit of pressure from Alex Dominguez. He's been one of the most dominant defensive forces the league has ever seen, but he hasn't been in the backfield much tonight.
Nope, 2 tackles, and that's it. But great job with him getting to Rahman, making sure that pass doesn't go for a huge play. This is very important for the Florida defense. They have to stop him here. Get the ball back in a hurry.
Low snap, Rahman under pressure. Down he goes.
He
had to corral the snap, and he couldn't get his eyes upfield, and Dominguez has a sack.
No pressure, no contesting by the O-line. O-line didn't do a good job stopping stopping Alex Dominguez, and he had to make that sack. It was just too easy for him. Great job by Dominguez putting the stop on this drive here.
And 2 straight negative plays pushes Las Vegas out of field goal range, although Florida will have the ball at their own 13-yard line, their shortest starting field position of the game. And it's now time for Ron Cochran to try and step up and lead his team back into this game. You saw in the previous matchup graphic earlier in the game, he had a completion percentage in that game of 80%. Only 50% tonight, 16 for 32. Here's Doyle around the edge, crunched in the backfield, and dropped for a loss of 1. Thomas Rahman Jr. on the tackle.
Yeah, but he basically was unabated to the running back because the lead blocker decided to go to the outside and not block inside. And Rahman Jr. was able to make a nice tackle for a loss.
Three receivers for Cochran to aim at, second and 11 from his own 13. He's going to go underneath, and the pass is broken up. Intended for Robert Merrill, and it's 3rd and 11.
Now, going back to that previous matchup, one of the reasons why Ron Cochran was at 80% completion percentage, they had a running game. The person is no longer there, had over 100 yards rushing against the Fury. It's been a different story in today's game. The old line just has to get better for Florida if they want to, do well and get back into the playoffs.
Another 3rd and long. A blitz comes, and Cochran goes down at the 7-yard line. The safety blitz works to perfection.
In this second time we call Shatter's name, and this time on the blitz was a sack. Good job by the defense of Las Vegas, just basically shattering all the hopes of the Florida's Storm being perfect against them. This has been all Las Vegas. If it weren't for that pick 6, there'll be no touchdowns for Florida.
For potentially the second straight game, Florida could have been held without a touchdown. They're without an offensive touchdown. Now in a game in 3 quarters, and they've got 8:39 to go to fix that. But the Fury have excellent field position when we come back. This is the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Eight minutes and 39 seconds to go. A comfortable 11-point lead for the Fury, and they have the ball inside Storm territory after the punt from the back of the end zone by Marcus Agrippa. Rahman alone in the backfield. He steps back to pass, throws over the middle, open, underneath for 12 yards to the 24 is Max Rokotansky, his first grab of the night.
The 6-foot, 200-pounder, role-playing wide receiver gets on the stat board for inside slant, and Florida was focusing more on their star receivers. They forgot about number 80 right there. Thomas Rahman's been doing a good job delivering some dots. It's just that if he didn't turn the ball over as much as he did, this game would have been well out of hand. Like I said, Florida's defense has been carrying this team, but they need a huge break right now.
Again, no Redford in sight, even though you may think they might want to run the clock down. 3-man rush gets to Rahman, and he goes down. Loss of 3 on the sack. Trying to look to see who that is. That's the rookie Toma Ello with his 2nd of the season.
And that's one of the great names in the SFL. Alessandro Tomaello, the rookie, first round, 15th pick overall this previous draft, making a big play.
Now Rahman is back in the game. He's going to get it on a swing pass, and he can't spin away. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 12.
But going back to what you said, you surprised that Redford's not in to, melt this clock. Well, he's not a back that can legit do that at his weight, but they do have a fullback who can wear out defenses since, he weighs 245 pounds. Why don't you give him the ball and see what he can do as a ball carrier?
Truzman without a carry, but 4 receptions for 31 yards. Here's Rahman going deep. Incomplete, knocked away by Lurkin again. Abi Lurkin, he's been all over that backfield today. And here comes Ems to try and extend the lead just a little bit more.
But that's also the second time IB Lurkin was able to pat down the ball instead of, picking it off. If he was able to pick it off, take it to the house, this game would be a lot different right now.
It'll be about a 43.5-yarder. Kick on the way from Ems, and he knocks it through. So with 7 minutes flat to go in the game, Las Vegas now has a 27-13 lead, and Rob Ems remains perfect on the season.
And right now, Florida's defense still holding on strong, only giving up 3 this time, not 6. But once again, Florida's offense has to do something. With 7 minutes left, it ain't over yet. They are responsible for the biggest comeback in SFL history. They have it in them. They just need to start doing it right now with 7 minutes left.
And I would have thought that last week against Jacksonville, their home opener, first game in Florida after spending so long in Alaska, they would come out swinging, and I expected them almost to dominate that game, but they kind of got rolled over by the Kings. The final score was 24-12. The only scoring for the Storm was 4 Ethan Snead field goals, as Ron Cochran is back on the field now at the 22-yard line. Again, poor field position to start. Doyle up the middle, no gain.
Now, here's the interesting note. I did mention that they're responsible for the biggest comeback in SFL history. That's the Florida Storm. And who they did it against? This very team they facing right now, the Las Vegas Fury. Thanks to the commish with the heads up on that one. They came back against the Fury 2 seasons ago to get the biggest comeback in SFL history. They're going to have to do it again against the same team.
Well, they're not going to do it like that, as again, a carry goes nowhere. 3rd down and 10. As the tackle was made by the rookie Colin Trelli.
And Mike, I would love to see them go back to the fullback passes. They actually had 7 yards that one time they threw it to J.W. Doyle on a out route. Maybe they should need to go back to that.
Cochran deep on 3rd and 10. Caught by Bush. And Bush running away from the defense. Buddy breaks a tackle to the 15. And there he will stay. Ron Cochran, that's his longest pass of the night. And it's to who else? Stephen Bush.
He was coming into today's game as the number 2 receiver in SFL this season. Because of great plays like that, he got over America Terra, and then he was able to bust him for a long run. If it wasn't for Terra slowing him down there, Alaska would have gotten their first touchdown in almost 2 weeks. But here they go. Can they make the comeback? Can they repeat history here and come back against the Fury and stay undefeated in this series matchup?
Well, they got to do it in the red zone. It's where they've struggled both last week and today. Cochran, down he goes, big sack. Nobody guarded the offensive line, and Rhett Sawyer has his 2nd sack of the night.
Rhett is just dominating the O-line. Unfortunately, anybody on the Vegas Fury D-line's been dominating the O-line. O-line has to, man up, stop them, help their team out, and get 6 here on this drive. There we go.
The far side, caught by Doyle. Yeah, it works when Doyle or Weston can catch the football. They're going to go up-tempo here. Now 3rd and 8. And again, they're in this really heavy set. They got to get to the 5 to continue the drive. Cochran moves in the pocket, throws across his body. It's caught, but still 4 yards short of the first down to Connor Weston.
And again, you commit the cardinal sin, but it doesn't hurt them this time. You don't want to throw the ball across your body. That's the number 1 sin as a quarterback, no matter what league you're in. Thankfully, it didn't hurt them, but they're going to have to do what they're about to do now. Go for it and get 6 here.
Cochran's going to be looking for the end zone. He's got 3 receivers plus a tight end to aim at. He throws to the near side. One-handed catch down. Oh, guess who? It's Mr. Invisible Optimus Klein.
And here's the funny thing. Just seconds before that play, he appears and says, everybody forgets about our number 2 wide receiver every season. Well, Ron Cochran didn't forget about you as you made a great catch to help extend this drive. And that could be the play that gets them back in this game. We'll see.
Sliding on his backside, stuck his hand up and grabbed the ball. Now first and goal. Cochran, under pressure, floats to the back of the end zone. It's tipped and incomplete. He was looking for Minson, and Rahman Jr. knocked it away.
Now, one thing you don't want to do is make a guy who's 6'5" become 5'8" by throwing a low pass. You want that guy to stay up, and be able to reach out and grab that pass. Throw a little bit higher. I guarantee you that's going to be a touchdown there.
They're back in this two-back set with three receivers on second and goal from the 4. Really needing a touchdown to have any hope of a comeback here. The Storm, plenty of time for Cochran. Short, and Doyle is wrapped up and dropped after a 1-yard gain. Now third and goal from the 3. They're going to go up-tempo. 4 minutes, 23 seconds to go in the 4th. Fury trying for a goal line stand here. Cochran, end zone, and incomplete. It was off the referee. And it was knocked away by Max Jackson, 4th and goal. You've got to go for it here, T-Roy.
Yeah, they have to, but great job by the defense. Max Jackson and Trimble had a chance to pick that off. But would it come back to hurt them, though? Because they have another opportunity to score. They need to pick it off and put this game away. We'll see how the Florida Storm responds here. Can they get 6?
That last play looked like a bit of a miscommunication between Bush and Cochran. Bush ran to the post, and Cochran was looking for a curl. Cochran, end zone, incomplete. It was just past the hands of Robert Merrill. A goal line stand holds from the Las Vegas Fury. They're going to get the ball back, and they don't give up any points.
Now, here's the thing. You might be thinking, it should have been pass interference. Well, where was that ball placed? At the 3-yard line. So that means it's inside 5 yards. No penalty would have been called there. Great job by Max Jackson preventing Robert Merrill from making that catch. Now they got a chance to run out this clock and get their first win in this series.
You did mention that the back, Robert Redford, is not the best at power running and running out the clock. They are at a power eye here, or offset eye, rather. From their own 3, it's going to be Redford. He's going to run straight into the teeth of the defense and fall forward for 2. As the clock starts to wind down, it does not get any easier for the Florida Storm, as next up they will be back at home against the beaten finalists from last season, the Seattle Tyrants, who earlier today got a pretty big hiding from the very same Jacksonville Kings who we've been mentioning all throughout the day.
Yeah, Jacksonville is scary right now. I don't want to face them when they're hot. Hopefully somebody can knock them down a peg, but it doesn't look like it right now.
Second and 8 from their own 5. Another handoff to Redford. Gets a block. And Robert Redford, does he have the wheels? He's got the entire defense from Florida chasing him. He's going to be brought down at the 37-yard line of Florida. Robert Redford breaks free and breaks all the way down the field.
And what we've been asking to do since the 3rd quarter began, bounce it to the outside more, because that's where his success has been. Outside carries. He was able to do so that time thanks to that league block by Trusman. We used to have a sponsor for the block of the game. Every block from Trusman could have been a block of the game. He's been doing a great job as the lead blocker, and then Robert Redford's been doing a good job following his fullback.
Man, the Las Vegas sideline was going crazy during that run. I was watching Max Jackson do arm circles and Rhett Sawyer jumping up and down. Great to see them supporting the other half of their team as they go down and try and ice this game with 2 minutes and 53 seconds to go, just under a minute to go to the 2-minute warning. And now with Las Vegas in Florida territory at the 37 following the long run for Redford. Throw to the near side. That pass is complete to Trusman. Trusman gets 8 and bumped out of bounds at the 29-yard line.
So Rahman just said, hey, Trusman, I see you blocking for your running back. Let me give you the ball once again. Another 5+ yard reception for Trusman. And anybody's going to be facing Las Vegas, you got another person you have to worry about. And he replaced a guy who was their first-round pick, and he's making some noise today. So great great debut by Trusman. This is his first game of his SFL career.
Ryan Davidson just playing Truesman way far back on those plays. Here is Redford up the middle, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and nothing more. Julian made the tackle. As you see the average for Redford, 10 yards a carry.
Look, I don't care who you are. If you rush as many times as Redford have and you're averaging 10 yards a carry, you had a great game. And while he did make some inside runs, his consistency running outsides what's been helping Vegas basically chew out the clock.
That long run also put Redford over 200 yards on the ground tonight as we hit the 2-minute warning. Vegas try to ice this game and claim their first ever victory over the Florida Storm. See the finish to this game after this. Back in Las Vegas, Michael Turillo, T-Roy Gaines, and Jacob Clear, the SFL broadcast booth. We were talking the break, T-Roy, about how going forward this Las Vegas team is going to be very difficult for defensive coordinators to plan for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons everywhere. You're going to have to pay attention to them as we see another great run by Redford and Florida calls a timeout, but their fullback's been producing. Their receivers have been producing. They got tall tight ends. Redford still Redford. And Thomas Ramos just minimizes those interceptions. Las Vegas got a strong chance to, get themselves in the playoffs this season. Great job with the game plan by Stephen Mullinex and the Las Vegas Fury.
Now, the Fury coming in today are 0-2, but they lost in a very tight game to Mexico City, who are a perennial SFL powerhouse. They got, to be fair, blown out of the water by Atlanta, but Atlanta looks scary good this season because they're the only team to beat Jacksonville, who looks really good. And it is still really early. I know, T-Roy, you're the running back for Baltimore, and you guys look really good. So who knows in, 12 weeks from now when we get to the playoffs, who knows who's going to be there?
Yeah, but they got the chance to get to the playoffs with their weapons. I'm looking forward to see how Vegas, carries this momentum that they have after winning a huge game against Florida. Remember, Florida Storm are still the Storm. They're still the 3-time champs. They are basically the SFL version of like the Patriots from that other league. They, experienced the most success recently. And they came into today's game with a great game plan. And just imagine if that wasn't a pick six earlier, Florida would only have 6 points, not 13.
The one real blemish on the Las Vegas game plan for today. Oh, another interception. That would have been a touchdown if it had been allowed to go through. But is that a hat trick of interceptions for Ryan Tobin? Yes, it is. Impressive evening for Tobin.
And he's the one with the pick six. He scored a touchdown for Florida, and he could potentially help the Florida Storm, get back in this game. They have to rely on the big play now with just under 2 minutes left in this game. But great job by Tobin, put a halt to this drive and preventing Vegas from scoring any points. Now this got to work some magic. Can the Revolt Gambler do his thing here?
I think that the defense from Las Vegas has been very good with their press coverages and their defensive schemes and really confused Cochran today. He goes down the middle, and that's a big catch all the way to the 39-yard line. Optimus Klein laying out to make the catch as we go up tempo. 1:30 to go here for the Storm. Cochran over the middle, almost intercepted. He overthrew Stephen Bush, and Colin Trelli knocked it away.
I actually wish he went back to Optimus Klein because he actually has single coverage. All the all the attention was going to Stephen Bush because he had that big play earlier in this quarter. He went to Cochran. He had one-on-one, and I can trust. Oh, sorry, he went to Klein with one-on-one. I will trust him to make the big play there.
Defensive line shifts pre-snap, 2nd and 10, minute 26 to go in the ball game. Cochran, laser, down the field, caught by Cochran, or Klein, and Optimus Klein drags defenders to the 16-yard line, and here we go. The up-tempo offense comes out again as the Storm race down the field to try and get the next play off as fast as possible. 1:07 left on the snap. Cochran,
there we go. What?
Caught and trying to spin away from a non-existent defender was Stephen Bush. He got a first out of the 4. Now under a minute to go. Cochran snap with, they got the defense to jump offside. Free play. Cochran goes down for a sack and won't matter. Rhett Sawyer took him down. And I'm not sure what Stephen Bush was doing on the previous play. He had a walk-in touchdown and tried to spin.
Sure did. I guess he wanted to do his best Robert Redford impersonation, and unfortunately, spun the wrong way. I guess he got too excited. Otherwise, that was a short touchdown. We'll see if that will come back to haunt Florida here. Thankfully, with that offsides, that stops the clock.
You're right to see if it comes back to haunt them because the Storm have been non-existent in the red zone. They have not punched it in 2 games from inside the 20-yard line or at all. No offensive touchdowns in 2 games. Cochran to the end zone. It's touchdown! Finally for the Florida Storm. It's caught by E.J. Minson.
Inside slant. E.J. Minson's too powerful for you to just put one arm to push him off. Remember, I believe they were inside 5 yards, so they could have done the same thing they did in the previous goal line stop and basically pushed E.J. Minson down. They didn't, and he was able to get that touchdown. The only thing is, if Bush would have scored previously, they will have more time on the clock here. Right now, it's just 47 seconds.
Extra point up and good. So now they're down by 7 with just 47 seconds left. And if they get the onside kick, all bets are off, even if they're out of timeouts. But it all comes down to this because a kneel down ends the game if they don't grab this.
Yep, this is the game right here. They need an onside kick, and I think they had a couple of them against Vegas when they made that comeback, so they got to do it right here.
Into the ground, hops up and grabbed by the Fury. Easy as you like. Max Rokotansky grabs it, and the Fury will take their first ever win over the Storm today at Silver State Stadium.
And I am confused. You might have heard me say, why did they? And I just stopped what I was about to say. But the Storm did not even try to, interfere with the catch. And it's not a penalty here in the SFL to interfere with the catch, as far as I know. So they just gave up on that kick. And that's the ball game. And great job by the Las Vegas Fury, Stephen Mullinex, and crew getting their first win of the season and the first win against the Storm in their 4-game history.
If you want more SFL action, we've got more. Coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern on 11 Sports and For the Fans, the Arizona Scorpions visit the Sioux Falls Sparrows. Sioux Falls try to go 3-0 and get up to the top of the league. Tomorrow, Sunday, February 2nd, we've got SFL action for you in the afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern. Mexico City Aztecs and the Atlanta Swarm, 2 of the more high-powered offenses that you will see in the league. And at 3 p.m., the Charleston Predators and the Carolina Skyhawks face off. All of those games on FTF and For the Fan. 11 Sports, rather, and For the Fans. We've got games Monday and Tuesday as well. If you want to see the schedule, go to simulationfl.net. T-Roy Gaines, your thoughts on the game, sir?
Just imagine if those turnovers were less. They have 5 turnovers. Las Vegas Fury had 5 turnovers. You would think when a team has 5 turnovers, they would have lost this game, but the struggles on offense continue for the Florida Storm. They finally got their first touchdown in 7 3/4 quarters. Well, 7 and basically almost 8 quarters. And that's not going to cut it in this league. And I know Max Paul's going to make the changes needed, get themselves back to their high-powered selves that won 3 championships. But great job by Vegas, especially Robert Redford and Truesman with the running game, and then Truesman as a receiver out of the backfield, basically averaging 6 yards per catch, helping the Vegas Fury get their first win over Florida.
And it's going to be tough because there were a lot of standout performers today, but who is your player of the game?
Now, here could have been Max Jackson, who had 2 interceptions. Robert Redford seems like he is, the guy that should get it, but he didn't score a touchdown this game. It was Memphis Blue. He scored the 2 touchdowns for Las Vegas. It can go to anybody, but I think because of the yardage that he gained, it's going to be Redford.
It probably is going to be Redford. I think Thomas Rahman is also in the mix as well, with well over 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. I know it's not going to be, but I'm going to give it mine to John Truesman. Fantastic blocking, as you see there on this replay, and also making some key catches out of the backfield, 3 of them for first downs. So a fantastic debut by the rookie. So we'll see who is decided to be player of the game. And I think coming up next for the Las Vegas Fury, they stay right here at Silver State Stadium and welcome in the defending champion Denver Nightwings. That's next week. But for Jacob Clear, T-Roy Gaines, and myself, Michael Torello in the SFL broadcast booth, we will see you next time, and stick around for Arizona and Sioux Falls later on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Goodbye.
Have a good one, SFL Nation.